The final word on my new Toyota Tacoma exhaust. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and welcome back to RobMotive. Can you hear that in the background? That is the aftermarket dual exhaust, at least dual outtake exhaust that I put on my Toyota Tacoma. And I thought I'd get on here and kind of give you guys a final word on it. You know, we did the install and then I gave you a little bit of an update, but I think it's time to give a final word, put it to bed, because I still get questions on the truck. How do I like it? Is it annoying? Is there a drone? Would I do it again? So we're going to cover that because, first of all, I love it. I think it's awesome. It's given me the sound that I want without the annoying background drone that you get in some exhausts. You know, years ago, I put I think it was called a Dynaflow, Dynamax, Dyna something muffler on the Jeep Wrangler that I had. I know it's not a Tacoma, but we're talking about exhausts. I put that thing on, and while I liked it initially, I mean, you started it up, it gave a nice boom, kind of like what the Tacoma does now with this aftermarket dual exhaust. But the problem with it was that it had a never-ending drone, a metallic kind of loud drone that just drove you nuts, and especially in a Jeep. I mean, this was a soft top, so there was no sound insulation. You obviously could hear everything, and it drove me crazy. So I didn't have it for long, and I want to note something else on that. You know, make sure if you get a muffler, an exhaust, whatever it is, that you get something that's not gonna rust apart. You know, that muffler that I put on, I was amazed at the condition it was in when I took it off. It had started to rust apart. It was even difficult to get the bolts off. It was horrible. So make sure you get something quality that's not gonna have that problem, like something from a well-known exhaust company. So back to the dual exhaust. You know, I have to say, first of all, and this is final thoughts, right? It wasn't my first preference because the exhaust itself, the tips exit out of the sides. I wanted something that exits out of the back. You know, the back is the best way to have it, in my opinion. I think it's a mean, aggressive look for the truck, and that was my preference. However, I found that there really wasn't anything available out there for the Tacoma that would give me that would exit out of the back. Now, there is always an option. You could try to find a muffler shop somewhere that you can work with that will bend the pipes for you and get something that's going to exit out of the back. But the problem with the Tacoma is there's not a lot of room under there. I mean, you have the spare tire in the way to begin with, so you have to kind of go around that. There's some wiring and things under there that you don't really want to disturb, so I didn't want to go that route. Not to mention, it would cost a fortune. Anytime you do anything custom like that, you're probably going to be on a time and material basis, and you find that the costs just start adding up. So I didn't want to get into that. And plus, if you do that and you happen to not like it, maybe it's too loud, now you've got a lot of money in it and you're kind of stuck with it. And let's face it, until you actually have an exhaust on your truck, you're not going to know for sure if it's what you really wanted and you really like it. So on the interior of my Tacoma now with this exhaust, how is the sound level? Well, I have to say there's really 3 different sound levels. There's the sound it makes when it's cold, which seems to be a bit louder. As this exhaust heats up, it seems to get a little bit quieter, at least in the cab. So you've got the startup that's loud, you've got a quieter sound once it heats up, and then of course you've got the sound when you really get on it. You know, like if you're out playing around, you want to hear it, you kind of stomp on it a little bit. Maybe you're making a turn and you get on it a little bit because that's a lot of fun too. Or just normal driving. Let's say you're on an entrance ramp and you're going to get on the freeway and you're going to give it some gas. You can really hear it then. And if you have a passenger inside with you, you will find that you've got to talk just a little bit. I'm being picky here. A little bit louder to overcome the sound of that exhaust. Here, let's have a listen here. Give you an idea a little bit of what it sounds like. You know, any exhaust on a V6 is not going to sound like a Mustang GT V8, but still, it sounds pretty good in my opinion, and you can hear it gets quite a bit louder when you really get on the gas. I don't mind that, but if you're very sensitive to noises, loud sounds from the vehicle that you're driving, the Tacoma, it's probably not going to be for you. And I would even question, if that's the case, why in the world are you putting a different, louder exhaust on the truck anyway? Now, I did mention the Mustang GT. You know, the baseline for me, the mecca of exhaust sound, is the Mustang GT, the older ones. I don't know if you've ever driven one, but I've been around a couple of them, and I have to say, whatever Ford did back in the day, and I don't know if they're still like that today, but man, did they make an awesome exhaust for that Mustang GT. And ever since I've been around those, it's always been kind of the line that I'm looking to get to. And you're never going to do that on the V6. And that's another thing I want to mention. You know, if you think, or anybody's told you that you're going to put an exhaust on a V6 and have that same deep, throaty exhaust as what you get with a V8, it's not going to happen. And it's not going to happen on this one either. It's just not that loud, and you're never going to get that V8 sound out of it. Still pretty good for a V6, I think, but never going to be that V8 grumble. And the grumble's the last thing that I want to mention. There really isn't a grumble. When you're sitting at a stoplight or something, or anywhere, and you're not moving, not on the gas, there really is not any kind of a grumble or anything. You know, that boom, 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 boom. That's my impression. You're not going to get that out of this exhaust. It's just the nature of having a V6, I think. The V6 does not give you that grumbly, throaty sound like you get out of a V8. So if you're expecting to get that, if you're expecting to hear this exhaust when you're just sitting still, that's not going to happen. You're going to be disappointed, and probably try to go to something else. So anyway, those are my final thoughts on the aftermarket dual exhaust. If you want to know the specifics of it, what it is, all that good stuff, there is an install video. I'll link it down below. You can check that out. Really is a two-man job, because there's a couple of pipes that you have to put together to kind of route it around to get it out of the side, at least on the driver's side. Again, you have to clear that spare tire and all the junk that's underneath there. I love it. I'm very happy with it. I would not change it out. It's given me what I was looking for the most that I can get, given that I'm driving a V6 Toyota Tacoma. Leave a comment. Let me know if you've gone with an aftermarket exhaust, and be honest. Are you happy with it? Has it given you everything that you hoped it would? Does it give you that sound that you're looking for? Or maybe you've put one in, didn't like it, and you've gone back to stock. I know a couple people who have done that. Leave a comment, let me know. Also, real quick, I do have 2 additional channels. RobMotive MT, all about mini trucks, currently the Hyundai Santa Cruz, and RobMotive JT, all about Jeep Gladiators, my current Jeep Gladiator Mojave. Check them out, and if you're interested, please consider subscribing. Thanks for watching. Stay safe out there. Bye.